Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. We will get started in 1 minute. We're just going to let people join the live Facebook. Okay, well, thank you for joining the Lunch and Learn for People's Community Clinic. Today, we will be talking about picky eaters and how to help them be more adventurous with food. My name is Genesis Valdes, and I am a registered dietitian, nutritionist, and licensed to practice in the state of Texas. I am really excited for y'all to be here. This talk is mostly for parents, and if you have a picky eater, I think you will really enjoy it. You will learn how to make peace with food at meal times and strategies that will help your child build healthy eating habits that last a lifetime. It is common for me to get parents in my office telling me how their kids refuse to eat certain fruits, vegetables, or that their kids don't eat meat. Parents are frustrated. The child may not understand why the parents want them to eat these specific foods, and this may interfere with the family meals as arguments can arise as parents ask their child to eat, to take a bite, or to finish everything on their plate. I've been helping picky eaters be more adventurous with foods during the last 4 years. A well-known registered dietitian, Ellen Satter, has done research on this topic for the last 3 decades, and I find her strategies quite useful. She developed the division of responsibilities when feeding a child. So this says that parents have some responsibilities and children have other responsibilities. The parents decides what to put on the child's plate, when to offer foods, and where to offer foods. The child's responsibilities are quite simple. They decide whether they eat or not and how much to eat. This has shown to help parents and their kids eliminate those meal battles. Let's start with the parent's responsibility. So, as a parent, it is your responsibility to feed your child and decide what you're going to be putting on their plate, taking into consideration what your child enjoys. Now, this doesn't mean you're going to cater to your child 100%, but it means you will be mindful of including 1 to 2 foods that your child enjoys and one that he is still learning to eat. Notice that I said learning and not doesn't like, and it's a very important distinction. Because let's say a child named Alex doesn't like broccoli. And if we say Alex doesn't like broccoli, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. We label him, so he probably will never like broccoli. But if we say Alex is learning to enjoy broccoli, then we can allow the child to say, maybe later, at an older age, I'll try broccoli. And also, as a parent, be a good example to your kids. Be the first one to take a bite from that new food. Lead by example and model a balanced diet. One that includes protein, carbohydrates, fruits, vegetables, and plenty of water. Next, we'll talk about where to eat. Now, it doesn't always have to be in the dining and kitchen table like we're used to. It could be maybe a tea party at the toddler's table. We can invite all the teddy bears and stuffed animals to join the tea party. We can have some cheese, we can have some fruits, some dressings for our vegetables, and enjoy some time with your child. This really will help him try new vegetables and feel comfortable about trying these new foods. It could also be a picnic. This picnic could either be outside or it could be in the middle of the living room. But changing the location of our meals can also make the child be more interested in mealtime. Then the third thing, or the third responsibility for parents, is when to offer foods. In my practice, I will focus a lot in this responsibility. Kids enjoy having routine, so they know when their next meal or snack will be. It's important for kids to know that the kitchen cannot be open 24 hours because they will continue to eat throughout the day, especially if they're bored. This is particularly a problem during the summer months. Now, try offering maybe 3 meals and 2 to 3 snacks. I also like to call them 5 to 6 small meals. Remember, your child has a small stomach, so we can't expect them to eat a lot during meal times. That's why snacks are quite important. Sometimes we think of snacks like things that have a lot of sugar in them, like ice cream, cookies, sometimes chips or Cheetos. But there's nothing wrong with these foods if they're offered with a balanced diet. However, we want to see snack time as an opportunity to nourish our kids and let them have some nourishing meals. We can offer them maybe, like I said, like a vegetable with some ranch or some whole wheat crackers, or any snack that you have available that you know is going to contribute to nourish this child. So this could help your kid, or this could give your kid many opportunities throughout the day to eat the calories and the nutrients they need. Next, I will talk about the children's responsibilities. They decide if they eat or not and how much. Sometimes it's difficult for parents to let go because they want to make sure their kid is well fed, and that's understandable. Something I like to tell parents is that children are born with the innate ability to know when they are full and when they are hungry. They lose the ability around age 5 because they learn to pay more attention to external factors. That is, the parent telling them to finish their plate. If not, they won't be able to get dessert. When dessert time comes around, they still eat because they wanted it so bad despite of being full. You can also offer the dessert at the same time as the rest of the meal. I know this is controversial. However, you're going to offer a small portion. For example, if you have a child under the age of 5, you can offer them maybe half a cookie with maybe the chicken, the rice, and the broccoli you prepared. If they finish the cookie first and they ask for more, you can tell them that they can try the rest of the food on their plate because that's all they're going to have for cookies for that meal. This way, the child will eat that cookie when he's feeling hungry and not when he's full. Also, if there's not going to be dessert, then we could just offer it with a meal we were going to give them, but we shouldn't condition the meal for them eating or condition the cookie if they finish the meal. So now that we're giving our kids more autonomy on what they will be eating, we can go ahead and go to our next topic about helping our kids be more adventurous with foods. So if you have any questions about what I just talked about, don't forget to ask your questions down below. So how can we help our kids be more adventurous with foods? So something that's going to be important is allowing them to try new fruits and vegetables and pick them out. You can take them with you to the grocery store, to the farmer's market, or if you have access to a garden, you can allow them to pick one fruit or one vegetable. When you bring them home, have a recipe, a fun recipe that they can help you prepare. Now, kids are willing to help, and they can use a plastic knife to cut bananas or strawberries. They can help you mix ingredients, scrub veggies, or stir food. So go ahead and include them in the kitchen. This will increase their interest with food. Also, when you offer dinner, you can give them choices. So for example, you can ask, which would you like for dinner? Broccoli or cauliflower? So he understands, or they understand, that there's going to be a vegetable for dinner, and they get to choose which one they're going to try that day. Also, like I mentioned, enjoy some family time together. Offer also the same food for the whole family. Don't try to cook a whole new meal for your kid if he refuses to eat. Remember, he has other opportunities during the day to eat something. I do want to mention that sometimes these strategies don't work for all kids, especially if your kid is in the autism spectrum disorder. Talk to your doctor about that. And if your child is underweight, also talk to your doctor about it. But these strategies do help a lot of kids. Also, when you're offering new foods, try to get maybe one of these plates that have the separations. So the foods that they're learning to eat and the foods they do enjoy are not touching each other, because that could be a problem with a small child. And also offer small amounts, like a tablespoon of broccoli. That's something they're learning to eat. Don't offer a huge amount of food, because this really can overwhelm the child, and maybe they won't be wanting to try the new food. One other thing is to offer the new foods many times. So research says that kids will accept a food into their diet once they've been exposed 12 to 15 times to it. But who's counting? Just every time you cook something for yourself, let's say asparagus or something you know your child is learning to eat, offer a little bit, put it on their plate. And if they do have a tantrum or they have a hard time having new foods on their plate, get a separate small plate and put it next to it. If they don't want to try it, just ask them to touch it. They don't have to try it that time, but continue to expose them to these new foods. This is not a slow process. It does take many months, many years, but you are raising healthy eaters by exposing them to a variety of foods. And then the other thing is to encourage your child to be creative with food and to help you prepare new snacks. Maybe you can help them cut some fruits and vegetables and make a salad that they might enjoy. But remember, allow them to really cut and touch those fruits and vegetables so they can get familiarized with the textures, the smells. That's going to be very, very important for your child. Another thing is to cut foods into fun and easy shapes with a cookie cutter. So, you could get a lot of cookie cutters, very inexpensive, and you can cut, like, for example, sandwiches. Also, you can cut a piece of bread and make a shape, let's say a star, and then over the pan, cook an egg on top of it. And these little things can be really fun for the kids. So another thing is to name the food. So don't just say it's a carrot or it's a salad. If the child helped you prepare the meal, we can even name it after them. So we could say Alex salad or Peter's sweet potatoes. So that way they take ownership on what they are cooking. So like I mentioned, be patient with your child. Allow them to have autonomy over what they're putting in their body, but be persistent on the foods that you are offering to them. So we have prepared a new video of a recipe that maybe you could try with your picky eater. So let's go ahead and play this video. This is a recipe you can make with your picky eater. It's fun, it's creative, and more importantly, they get to play with different fruits. So for example, here we're going to be using strawberries. We just need half a strawberry. We're going to be using 2 blueberries, some slices of apples, and bananas. For this recipe called rice owl cake, we do need a rice cake. If you go to the grocery store, you can look for this one. We're looking for something that says 100% whole grain. And for the peanut butter that we're going to use as a base, we could use this one, smooth peanut butter. Something that's very important is to look at the ingredient list and make sure it doesn't have any other added fat to it. We just want the dry roasted peanuts. Sometimes they add honey, sometimes they add a little bit of salt, but the less ingredients would be better. And lastly, we're going to be using the Cheerios. Here is the plain Cheerios, but you can also use the multi-grain Cheerios. Okay, so this is the rice cake. We're gonna put a little bit of peanut butter. So let your child play with it. It's probably gonna be a little messy, but it's important for them to get used to the texture. They can use either a plastic knife, a butter knife, or they can even use their hands. So we're gonna distribute this evenly. Then we are going to be adding the ice to start. And we're gonna be using 2 slices of bananas. Then we're gonna be adding the wings. Oops. You could add them either way. I think they're gonna fit better like this. Oops. And then we want to add the beak. Oh, I didn't finish the ice, so we want to do the blueberries. And then we're gonna add 6 Cheerios. I mean, you can add more, but for now we're just gonna add 6 or however many fit here. What do you think? Do you think your kid will have fun making this recipe? Are y'all gonna be trying it at home? I think it's really fun. And if you visit centraltexasfoodbank.org/recipes, you can look at other recipes using similar ingredients to create either a rice lion cake or a rice cat cake. So check it out. What do y'all think? Do you think you're gonna try this recipe with your kids? You can find more recipes at centraltexasfoodbank.org/recipes, and they have different recipes, not just with rice cakes, but other ideas for you to make different shapes with this food. But just allow your kid to be more creative with the meals and use mealtime to bond with your child and allow them to have autonomy over what they're going to be putting in their body, and take responsibility of what foods you offer them. And like I mentioned, there's nothing wrong with desserts or ice cream or chips, but offer them in conjunction with other healthy foods like fruits and vegetables, and also make them try it in different, or have them try it in different ways. So I know sometimes we think of vegetables in like a cooked manner, like we steam broccoli or carrots, but sometimes kids will really enjoy a raw vegetable with some dressing of their choice. So this way we offer a variety of fruits and vegetables cooked in different ways, and this can really help them expand their palate. Like I mentioned at the beginning, if you're concerned about your child being a picky eater, talk to your to his or their pediatrician and ask them the questions you may have about their picky eating, their growth, their weight. But if there is no concern with their growth or their weight, then it's okay for them to skip a couple of meals. Remember, they'll have another opportunity to try foods. And I think this could also help the caregiver who's preparing meals not feel so stressed about cooking different things for each member or family member. So I am going to start answering questions in just a minute. If you haven't typed in your question, make sure you do it on the chat below. So just to summarize, we talked about the division of responsibilities developed by dietitian Ellen Satter, where parents have the responsibility of deciding what foods to offer, which means that they will be offering 1 or 2 foods that they do enjoy, and then offering 1 or 2 new foods that the child is learning to like. or to enjoy. And then where to offer food, make it fun, maybe have a picnic sometimes, and then when to offer food. So we said 3 meals, two to 3 snacks in a day, and then the child decides whether they eat or not and how much to eat. So it's okay if they want to grab seconds, but start with small portions so they can know when they are full. And then we talked about some strategies on how to get our children to eat more fruits and vegetables, and most importantly, for them to have hands-on activities where they're touching those fruits and vegetables and preparing meals with their parents. So give yourself some credit for cooking for a child. It could be stressful. Sometimes you'll follow some of these recommendations, sometimes you won't, but it's okay. Continue trying. We're going to start with the questions. The first question is from Joy. She says, these are great ideas. My daughter has a big appetite for snacks, but then won't eat her dinner. How can I get her to eat more at meal times? Great question. So like I mentioned earlier, the kitchen cannot be open 24 hours. So at first it's going to be difficult to set times, but it's important to have snack time and meal time. And if it's maybe an hour before her dinner, just ask her to wait. That dinner will be almost ready. It'll be ready in an hour, and show her. Let's say if you have dinner at 7 p.m., show her what 7 p.m. looks like on the clock. And then let's say 20 minutes before the meal, she's telling you she's really hungry. Go ahead and offer her maybe a salad or some veggies or some new foods that you know they're not her favorite, and have her sit down and start with that while you continue to prepare the meal. Great question. Thank you. Diana is asking, what if my child refuses to eat? Should I feed my child his favorite foods in order for him to get something in his stomach? That is a great question, Diana. And look at your child's nutrition in a 7-day period. Did they eat well the day before? Or have they been eating well, but maybe they have an off day where they're just not having a lot of food, and you try to give them their favorite foods? You could definitely do that, but just go ahead and go with the meals you've planned for the week. And it's okay if they refuse to eat. Whenever they feel hungry, they will probably eat in their next scheduled meal, or the next day their appetite could improve. So don't cook a whole different meal for him or for them if they're refusing to eat. Just ask them to try some of the foods that are on their plate, especially if you did include one that they enjoy. So ask them to, let's say they just like rice from that meal you offered, you can ask them to just eat the rice if they don't want to try the rest of the foods. But giving them only their favorite foods can really prevent them from being adventurous and trying new fruits and vegetables. So there's no straight answer, but maybe a day it's not a problem, but overall you really, really want to stick with the meals you plan for the kid and ask them to try from what you've prepared. Carolina Munoz is asking, what would you recommend for a child that is not open to eating any vegetables? Great question. So sometimes parents ask me, can I hide it in the food? And they'll do it with the marinara sauce, or they'll add it to a smoothie, and the child will eat it. And that's great. You can continue doing that if that's something you like. But you also want to expose them to what this vegetable looks like and put it on their plate in small amounts. And if they're refusing to eat vegetables, it's okay. You can tell them, like, maybe next time you can try it. Also, another thing is describe the texture, describe the flavor of the food, and try it in different forms, so that maybe they'll find a way that they do enjoy it. Another thing is have them eat with other kids that do eat vegetables. Sometimes they feel peer pressure to trying it because they see the other kid eating it. So that could also be something that helps. Thank you so much. So we have Sarah asking, how can I help my child gain weight? He only eats 3 or 4 foods. Great question. Please talk to his pediatrician. And if your child is underweight, which is below the fifth percentile line, think about maybe offering smoothies. So if they do drink milk, can you add some fruit into those smoothies or some high calorie foods with the foods that they do enjoy? So kind of put it together. So if they really like rice, maybe you can offer some chicken with it, mixed in with it. Or if that's too much for them, just separate, but continue being persistent and adding new foods to them. Viana says, very cute. Thank you. Recipe is a lot of fun. The kids will really, really enjoy it. Monica Diaz says, yes, cooking for a toddler is stressful. Thank you. Of course, and be compassionate with yourself. It could be a stressful task. Donna Brown is saying, not rocket science feeding kids. They eat what we give them. Take them on a food journey. It's eye-opening. That's great. Yes, if you take them to like a farmer's market, they'll be excited to see all the fruits and vegetables and all the new foods that they offer. Yes, and if you take them or expose them to different cultures so they can try new foods, I think that's a great idea. So also another thing is think about when you try something new, you don't just put it in your mouth. You probably smell it, poke it before you even try to take a small bite from it. So children are the same way. Let's be patient with them. And I think we don't have any more questions. So I think we're coming to an end of the Lunch and Learn. Well, thank you everyone for joining, and hopefully you can join us for our next month Lunch and Learn. Y'all have a good one. Thank you.